Shaw community, we're back with episode
6.
I can't show you 6, but she can. Episode 6.
Hey.
6 times we're coming to you, talking to you about mental health, drug addiction, alcoholism, anxiety, depression, and suicide. We can't forget suicide because that's very, very, very important to say that word and to have that word out there and to be okay with saying that word, correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely
It's so
correct.
important. So important.
So today we're going to be talking about what actually Ashley wanted to talk. She didn't want me to say that, but Ashley Ashley wants to talk about, because it's not all about me all the time. Ashley has some great information. Ashley's very smart. Ashley has some great experience, and Ashley has some great inspiration that she can show to other people. So it's not always just about what Jay comes up with. It's also what Ashley comes up with, because it's a togetherness thing with Ashley and I, and that's what I really love about Ashley and I, is, you know, and I think it's the first time in my life I can say this, is that together we do everything. Now, you may get upset with me because whatever, but together we do everything. So this, you wanted to
We're
talk.
a good team.
Yeah, we are a team,
We're
and
a good
that is, and so let team. There's no I in team.
There's no I. Yeah, there's no I.
There is no I in team. So we are a team, and so she wanted to talk about something. I think that means something to her, and I think it's a great thing to talk about. So what did you want to talk about?
Well, I think I want to talk about riding the wave of recovery. And so what I mean by that for myself anyways, and I look at, I work at our local detox center in Kenora, and I see a lot of people come in and out, and I see a lot of young people who have, very, very, very young recovery, like very young, like a week, maybe 2 weeks, and they move on to like either a recovery home or to a treatment center or anything like that. And for myself as well, I went to a treatment center in Timmins, Ontario called the Jubilee Center. I did a 28-day program there, and I thought...
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So when they come to the detox, so our local detox, so grateful we do have a local detox. That's very important. I wish the city would consider having a treatment center here. I think that it would help the area a whole lot more. I really do. A guy also that went to treatment, I had to wait 30 days in order to go to...
wait 3 months.
So you had to wait 3 months. I had to wait 30. Maybe I was worse than you. Get out of here! Anyways, no, just kidding. So I had to wait 30 days. So we also know that the system is backlogged in this area of life.
Oh, yeah.
So I waited 30 days, and I went to Ottawa. You went to Timmins, Ontario. Mm-hmm. So we went to 2 different places that are far from Kenora, which is, I was based in Kenora, you're based in Kenora.
Yeah.
So I didn't spend a lot of time in our detox center. I really went out of jail, went there for 2 or 3 days or something, and then got out because I thought it was whatever. I wasn't ready at the time. But so what is there actual programs at our detox center that people can participate in? Like, I just want to know this before you talk about riding the wave, because you said you see people come in for a week, and so do they stay a week? Is there an actual program there, or is it just actually just detox?
You're just detoxing.
Okay.
So not to say that we can't help you figure out what your next step is.
Okay.
But the detox center is for you to detox, and a safe place to be.
Okay.
So that's more or less. But if you want to continue on down a recovery road, there are options. It does, like any system, there are cracks in it, and we do the best we can with what we have. But with that said, there's a lot of people who come in there who start feeling better. And I was one of those people. So after I did my 28 days in my treatment center, I thought my life was going to be okay, and everything was going to go back to normal. And you start feeling amazing, right? And they talk about this pink cloud. Everybody's got their own opinion on what their pink cloud was. Nothing can touch you. You feel like a superhero, and then life hits you in the face, right? And life is on life's terms now. And I feel that I see a lot of people
What do you mean okay with okay? So you're in treatment for 28 days. You somehow managed to get one day after the other. And I mean, the biggest strength, courage, and hope and faith is to actually just get to the treatment center.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can actually muster up enough strength and say, I'm going to go to treatment, that's huge. So you've admitted that you have a problem, whatever the problem may be, if it's drugs or alcohol, or maybe you're going to treatment for sex or gambling or food addiction or whatever the case may be. There's many different treatments for many different addictions.
Yep.
Alcoholism and drug addiction just isn't one. And Ashley and I kind of deal with, I myself deal with the lot of it. That's why I call it more. So when you say, okay, so you're compounding days in treatment. You get the 28 days. You just thought your life was going to be, everybody was going to forgive you. You thought you'd go back to normal. You could come out of treatment not putting any work in. You'd put the work in treatment.
Yeah.
So in your mind, did you think you were cured?
I thought I had a handle on it and I could control it, right? And I learned what an ego was.
So defined handle. What does handle
control?
mean? Okay.
I call it control because I thought I could now, because I had 28 days under me of being clean, that I could use or drink per se.
So you could manage
I
it.
could manage my drinking,
Okay.
right? Because I didn't want to use, or I knew I was an addict, but I didn't really admit I was an alcoholic at that time.
So did you look at alcohol as a drug or a substance? No? Okay.
Not overly. I knew what it would lead to, though,
Okay.
right? So I knew if I drank, I would use.
Okay.
Right. So, but I think it's vitally important that, you know, we talk about relapse, you know, when we're at a low point, but I think it's really important when you're riding a wave, when you're really high on that wave.
Okay, so this is the pink cloud you're talking about?
Yeah, and you're doing really, really well. I think we need to look at it too, that there's relapse there too, right? So there's moments where you think, I can do this. I can use this. I can have a handle on this. I can control this one time. It's not going to be like the other times. And I think we need to really acknowledge that and realize that it's a wave, right? Recovery, life is a wave, right? So there's going to be great times in your life and in your recovery, and then you're going to sink. And it's happened to me many times. And
so what do I refer to it as? The series of events.
Series of events, yes.
So
yes.
Why don't you talk about a couple of your series of events that where you're really high up?
Yeah,
because this time you have how like, well, you just celebrated 20 months.
Yeah, and 600
Woo,
days.
woo,
Yay.
woo, woo.
So
20 months.
we can use that as an example, right?
Yeah.
So I was celebrating 600 days a couple weeks ago. 600 days of continuous sobriety, and that's a big deal, right? One day of sobriety is a huge deal, but I have managed to be able to do 600 plus now in a row. You know, and then a couple days later, my mental health took a huge hit, right? It took a huge hit to the point where I wanted to go and use, you know, and so it's that quick. It's that
So walk
quick.
us through that.
So I was told I had to self-isolate. And not,
So you're not knocking the self-isolation?
I'm not knocking the self-isolation, but for self-isolation for me.
But I think it's important we say right now that mental health is taking a real hit,
Huge hit.
because
Huge
of
hit.
self-isolation and people not knowing how to deal with that self-isolation.
Including myself.
And including myself also. So we're here to tell you you're not alone. If you're struggling with mental illness or mental anxiety or depression or anything like that due to isolation factors, I think we just have to really be on top of that and figure out a better way. So what was your so what happened?
So I was told I have to self-isolate, and as soon as I was told I have to self-isolate, I was right in my head. So I think for myself, and this is what I've kind of chalked it up to, or kind of understood of where it came from. So for the first time in my life, I feel that I'm on the right track. I'm doing what's best for me, what's best for my family, what's best for everybody around me and my community, right? So I live a really good life today, and I'm making really good choices, and I'm following the rules. I'm, so on and so forth. And then I was told no. Right? No, it's not good enough. Right? And for me, that got in my head that I'm not good enough. That I am, I'm less than. I'm not worth it. Screw it. I might as well go use. So that was it.
So did you think? So your power was taken away from you? Whatever your power is.
Yeah, my power was taken away from me, and I had to really. I got really low really fast.
So walk us through that. Walk us through that, because I didn't see it physically as I wasn't beside you, but I sat at home and worked through?
I was very angry. I was very sad. I was very heavy. I cried a lot. I screamed a lot. I threw things. And then I took my anger towards everything, and I actually used it towards good. Because I knew that if I didn't do something good, that there was potential that I could potentially use.
Okay, so you might as well talk about that. You're in your garage.
I was
and
in my
you
garage
saw
and I found a bottle of champagne.
Old champagne.
Old champagne.
How long was it sitting there?
Oh, I don't even know, years.
And
years.
you thought about drinking it, even though it's sad about sitting there for years.
Yeah, I looked at it and I'm like, I'm going to drink that. I'm going to drink it. But I did.
So alcoholism is does not discriminate, and it'll take you at any time. That's why they say cunning, baffling, and powerful. So you got to think, 600 days she had, and she was riding a serious pink cloud on top of the world, helping people, doing what we do, sharing our stories, doing the recovery couple. Ashley and I are out there live and in color, and I've been out there for a long time, and Ashley's been out there basically since she met me. And has done a phenomenal job on creating a platform for herself, for people to come to her and ask for help, and that's kind of where you get the strength and the courage to really move on in every single day, is by giving what you have so freely away to help somebody else while you help yourself, right? So you got to think she was on that pink cloud. She was riding that wave. She was on the surfboard of life. She was just loving life, living it up, and just really taking in every good gift and good reward that that comes her way because of her recovery, and doing the next right thing, and doing what she's supposed to do to keep everything safe and in life. And then, bam! It comes that fast.
It does.
It comes that fast.
It does.
So there's a series of events that happen that slowly kind of pick away, and I'm sure. I'm sure the whole world scenario has picked away at her for a while. And
it has. It really, really has.
And it finally just got you.
It did. I was done. Right. And so it was scary. It was very scary. I didn't know what to do. And
she was very quiet. Yeah, she was very quiet. She never texted me. Well, she texted me once. And then I texted her, and she was pretty quiet all day, and I knew what she was going through. So I knew she was up to three things. One was really, destroying her backyard, which she did. The other one was thinking about drinking, which she was. Yeah. And the other one was, curling up in a ball and beating herself up, which she was.
Yeah. Which I did.
So the only reason I know those things is because I also have gone through what she was going through. So I could relate. And I also know that you have to just allow the person to go through what they got to go through. I gave her time, let her sit in her stuff. But then I went to her house and saw her, and she was burnt out, mentally exhausted.
And I think it's important that we really highlight the fact that you have to go through it, right? And so part of riding the wave is going through those emotions. And I know that, even though I wanted to use and I wanted to drink, I knew in my head what would happen if I did. But
also not being like bothered on the other side from, so say somebody like me, and I didn't understand what you were going through at the time, I would have probably been a guy that would have texted you 150 times, and then making myself feel like I'm not worth it. She doesn't want to be with me. She doesn't want to talk to me. I'm not good enough for her. I'm not good enough for anybody. I'm always going to be, so if I didn't understand what she was going through from a guy that experienced it all and experience it all still today, I would never understand any of that, so that I would start beating myself up. I never beat myself up. I gave her the space she needed in order to process what she needed to process, because I knew if she didn't pick up, now we're not guaranteed we're not going to pick up.
No, never.
But I knew if I just gave her space, she would process it, she would allow herself to feel, and she'd come out the other side stronger. And here's the ticket. I went over and saw her. I listened to her. And I told her a couple things. And what did you do? You bucked the system.
I did.
You bucked the system.
I did.
But you bucked the system because you were inside your inside your mental illness. Your committee was running the show at that time.
Oh, gosh,
and you had not arrested the committee yet inside your head.
I did not.
Right. So the minute I left, but what did I say to you that you should do?
I should share about it.
Because it was the first time that you had really hit an all-time low that you, in our recovery, I mean in our relationship and in our not in your recovery, but in our relationship, a real low.
Yep.
And I said that if you go and share this right now on our public platform, not only are you going to help yourself and arrest the committee inside your head that's going to allow you to start healing through what you were going through, but you just might help one person that is going through the exact same thing right now at home and needs to hear that they're not alone.
Yeah.
You have to get out of yourself right now, Ashley, and you have to do this not just for you, but for somebody else. What did you do?
Well, I fought you on it at first. I'm like, nope, I don't want it. I'm not going to. And that was me just being stubborn, just me just sitting in it, right? And as much as it sucked and it was painful, it's also familiar, right? And so once I processed it, I'm like, okay, he's right. And I did. And what wave? So you're talking about a wave. Right.
So there's another wave.
Yeah.
So the wave, there's all kinds of different waves in recovery. Waves of emotions, waves of feelings, waves of support. So let's talk about the wave of support that came in from this.
Oh my gosh, it was insane. And I did it, I did it for me to begin with, right? And that's what we have to remember, is that we're doing this for us.
So you weren't selfish.
I wasn't selfish. I just started to share, and I wanted as we call it, I wanted to arrest it, and I wanted to put it out there, and I wanted to be done with it, and by sharing, and for me, it was on social media, right? And it doesn't always have to be like that. I could have just shared it with Jay and been done with it, right? But I think it's vitally important that people see that, even that we all have hard days, and that
we're real people. We're stronger together, and that's how we break the stigma.
It is.
So the wave of support that came in
was insane. It was insane. I had people messaging me, saying, Ashley, you know what, I'm 2 days clean and sober, and you've helped me with that. Thank you so much. And I've had people going, oh my God, girl, I'm in the exact same boat as you, and I feel you, and I'm here, and just, I had a beautiful gift given to me that was absolutely, a lady had made this beautiful blanket, and it was given to me to wrap myself in it when I'm feeling
a healing
blanket
with a poem that her mother gave to her that was from the 1800s, which was called "Don't Quit." Don't quit. So here's what I want, because this is important. I love that you talked about the real lows and how you went through the real lows. And this is truly about you. I'm not going to talk about my waves of stuff, because this is about you. So, but you really talked about the real low. You really talked about how down you were. You really talked about how you didn't want to reach out. You really talked about being inside your head. You really talked about the committee. Then you talked about the release and the arrest, and then you talked about the support, and then you talked about the people helping that you helped out, and that's the cycle of recovery.
It really is, and I think it really opened my eyes to going. I had one of those aha moments, be like, that's what it's about, right? And I can see what.
So you see what I've been saying to you for the last 15 months now.
Yes, I do. But what I have been given so freely, and I love to share about it, and I love to support people, and I love to be there, and I love to listen, and sometimes you don't even know who you're helping. But I got that. I got to experience that in a very real way. And it was very, I don't know the amount of gratitude I felt towards, the support I have. I can't even explain it. It's an unbelievably beautiful gift I was given, and I had no idea that that's what would happen. But I also am very thankful that I was able to share about it and to show other people that you can, and this is what the support is there, and you are truly never ever alone.
Never. The only person that makes you feel alone is the committee that's running your aloneness.
Yeah.
So you're the one that feels it, you're the one that sees it, and you're the one that's in it. Nobody else can see that until you break your silence, which is you being able to get enough strength, enough courage, enough faith to share because we're all fear-based.
Yeah, and
Every
also-
single one of us are
yeah.
fear-based. So you were probably fear-based that you were going to be judged, and you were on this amazing thing, and you're doing amazing things, and you're recovering and stuff like that. But the opposite happens every single time. And I taught myself this the first time I ever did it way back 12 plus years ago, when I was so scared that I was going through a real tough time, and I thought everybody was going to run the other way and go, hey, and you know what? The opposite happened. I got so much support, and I got so much strength from the support that I could get through that real tough time that I was going through, because we all go through tough times, right? Tough times make stronger people if you can get through them, right? And if you don't get off the wave and you keep riding that wave of ups, downs, in the middles, arounds, towns, all that stuff, if you don't get through it, it's gonna carve you, it's gonna turn you, it's gonna change you, it's gonna heal you, it's going to make you a better person. But while making you a better person, you're showing others that they can ride the wave with you, not alone, with you. That's why we're stronger together. And that's why, a few years back, I started a thing called hashtag What's Your Story. Everybody has a story. My story touches people that are just like me. Ashley's stories touch people like Ashley. And then those people don't feel alone. I heard my story, and then all of a sudden I didn't feel alone, which gave me the hope inside that I could recover. I could be clean and sober, right? So it's vitally important, hashtag What's Your Story, to really talk about your story, even if you think your story's not worth it, even if you don't think you're worth it, even if you don't feel you have the strength to do it. Both of us are going to sit here and tell you, we believe in you. You are worth it. We love you. Your story is not only going to change you, but your story is also going to help others that need the help as well. So, riding the wave is that's a great topic, because there's so many things that you can talk about when you're riding the wave, from the good times, the low times, to the medium times, to all the times in between.
Just gotta ride it out. You have to ride it out.
So how are you feeling now? So it's been about 2 weeks?
I feel good. It's
Was it about 2 weeks ago? Yeah, I guess so.
I think so.
About 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So I saw the switch within a day from her.
Yeah.
Like I saw the switch once I saw that she put the post out. She never answered to any of the comments. They just came coming in, and there were 700 to 1,000 comments on all our platforms of people just reaching out and giving support. And the next day, once you start answering the comments and you actually start reading everything that people have to say, the encouragement, the love, the overwhelming feeling of I got this, the gratitude that you feel because you're not alone, the belief you start getting back in yourself that you can do it. You start feeling grounded again. You don't feel so in quicksand, or you don't feel like your surfboard's cracked and you're about to fall apart. And I saw the change coming right away. The smile came back, the beautifulness of Ashley came back. But for me, it was a beautiful thing to see her go through that, because it taught her something new.
It did.
It taught her something new, and I can appreciate that, because I have a couple more days in, but she sees me go through it too.
I do.
Right? So it taught her something new, and the best thing about it is the next time she goes through it, she's going to be familiar with it. So it's not going to be as hard. It's going to be easier for her to share, not easy, but easier for her to share about what's going on.
Yep.
And it's going to touch more people, and it's going to help more people that are at home alone.
That's right. It is.
So I'm proud of you. That was a big step for you to do that. On the side of you believed in yourself.
I did.
And that really, if you want to look at the whole thing here, she actually believed in herself enough, because one person believed in her to do it, which arrested the fear she had in herself of the judgment that was going to come, when it was the total opposite, which was straight love, support, encouragement to just get through another 24 hours. Because that's all we're promised. That's all we're promised. We're only promised today. So if you're